Chapter 6. 100 Skins of Beautiful Women. The Vanguard team was tasked with finding a suitable construction site. Alongside us were 2 engineers, a surveyor, and a geological prospector. After abandoning our vehicles, we trekked through the mountains for 2 full days. By dusk on the second day, we set up tents for rest, observing the overcast sky begin to float sporadic snowflakes, forewarning of a significant snowfall at night. The 4 engineering and technical personnel, including 1 female, were intellectuals characterized by their spectacles. They had not yet acclimated to the harsh high-altitude environment, panting heavily inside the tents in such a way that one couldn't help but worry for their frail frames. The team leader, together with a platoon instructor and a medic, were busy attending to them, offering water, medicine, and urging them to eat, knowing that avoiding food would only worsen the altitude sickness. Soldiers, inherently robust and having undergone rigorous training during enlistment, which included 5-kilometer daily armed cross-country exercises, adapted to environments easily. By this time, most had somewhat acclimated to the thin mountain air. Using special solid alcohol fuel, we lit a campfire. The troops huddled together for warmth, eating semi-cooked noodles and compressed biscuits. The high altitude meant the water couldn't boil properly, leaving the noodles underdone. Among my closer comrades in arms were a big guy from Heilongjiang in the northeast, a Tibetan recruit, Gawa, and Little Lin, a 16-year-old signalman from Jilin. We quickly finished our noodles, catching our breath as we rested. The effort expended while eating in the highlands seemingly surpassed an armed cross-country march at sea level. Little Lin took a rest and then said to me, "You joined the army from the city. You know a lot. Why not share a few stories with us?" Big Guy chimed in, eagerly encouraging, "Yeah, I'm really looking forward to your stories. They're fantastic. Anyway, we've got to hold a platoon meeting later, and we can't rest beforehand, so go ahead and tell us one, will you?" Gawa, not as fluent in Mandarin, struggled to find the words. After opening his mouth but unable to speak, he simply gave me a wave, which I interpreted as, "Go ahead. I'd like to listen too." I stuck my tongue out, somewhat teasingly, "With the air this thin, how come you all still have so much energy?" "Fine. Since my comrades want to hear a story, I'll improvise for now. But when the squad leader nags me later during the platoon meeting, you guys have to back me up, all right?" I had a reason for saying this. Our squad leader wasn't too fond of me. He was from the countryside and had labored for 5 years in the military before earning the minor position of squad leader. He particularly resented backdoor soldiers like me, a child of high-ranking officials. Every time we had a meeting, he'd prompt me to speak, seizing on any lapses in my words to launch into criticism. It had nearly become a routine. It was infuriating. But what story should I tell? I'd read less than 10 books in total, including 4 volumes of Mao's works, a quotation book, a dictionary, The Red Sun, and Youth Guard. I had gone over all of them with the guys, and another book on Feng Shui secret arts wouldn't make any sense to them. Racking my brains, I eventually recalled a book I'd borrowed from Xiaomong when we were sent down to the countryside. It was a popular folk legend manuscript at the time, primarily featuring the deeds of the Plum Flower Party, with a few extraordinary tales from society mixed in. Among them was a story about 100 skins of beautiful women that had left a profound impression on me. The story began on a train journey from Beijing to Nanjing. A university student named Zhao Pingping was returning home to Nanjing and happened to be on that train. Sitting across from her was a young and handsome People's Liberation Army officer, with whom she struck up a conversation. Pingping found herself charmed by the officer's demeanor and speech. During their talk, she also learned of his well-to-do family background and higher education, prompting her to fantasize about marrying him. Upon arrival at Nanjing Station, the officer invited her to a nearby restaurant. While dining, the officer stepped away to make a phone call. Upon returning, he handed Pingping a letter to deliver to his family in Nanjing, explaining he had to return to his unit urgently and could not visit them himself. Pingping readily agreed, and after a reluctant farewell, they parted ways. The following day, Pingping visited the officer's house to deliver the letter, where she was warmly welcomed by an elderly lady, presumably his mother, who read the letter and invited her in for tea. After a few sips and casual conversation, Pingping suddenly felt dizzy and collapsed. Awoken by a bucket of icy cold water, Ping found herself stripped and tied up on a makeshift tanning rack. The walls were hung with human skins. Surrounding her were several individuals, including the old lady and several hulking men. The old lady showed Ping the letter she had brought, revealing only one sentence. The 100th beautiful woman's skin delivered. Please check. With a cold laugh, the old lady explained they were covert agents, and stripping women's skins was for packing them with explosives. They needed to prepare exactly 100 skins, and with Ping, they finally reached their number. Handing a sharp skinning knife to one of the men, she ordered him to begin the gruesome task. Just as I was getting to the most exciting part of the story, the squad leader approached and interrupted me. Enough talk, everybody quiet now. Huba Yi, there you go making things up again. Eh? We're about to have our squad meeting. You like to talk, right? Well, this time, we'll let you start the discussion. How about it?